All right. All right, we back. We back. Oh man. What I'm trying to tell y'all, man, I be going through the most stream drop. It was like a power outage or something. I don't know what's going on. But we back. We back. We back. Hold on, let me put it out there. Let me put it out there. Make sure people know that we back. I'm trying to tell y'all, man. Okay. So yeah, we back. Do I need to tweet out the yeah, I might as well just tweet out that we back. All right. So we gonna get right to it, obviously. Get right to it, obviously. Um let's see here. Let's go to my let's go to the Gmail. We can actually go to my write up too. It was a nice short little write up. All right, cool. So let's do it like this. And it goes a little something like this. Hit it. Okay. So we got a lot of stuff in here. And I might I might add it to the description. I'm not sure though. I'm not sure. Let me pull the source up for y'all. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, 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 dun. Hold on. It's taking a second. All right. So where's it at? Why is it not coming up? All right, hold on. Let's get to it. Okay, there we go. There it is. There it is. Just gotta zoom in real quick so you guys can read it. Let's make it even bigger than that. Let's do 200. Okay, so I had wrote this up earlier this year, and I'm glad that I did. Can we X out of this outline thing? Yeah, there we go. So Negro Baseball League. So we'll start with the first paragraph, and then I got some visuals and stuff that I want to add to it. All right. So it says one of the lesser known facts about the history of Black American baseball leagues is that it wasn't just one league. Okay. The very first recorded baseball game was played in Newark, New Jersey between the St. John's Baseball Club and the Union Baseball Club in 1855. So we go back, the first black baseball game was happening during slavery, pretty much, right? The mid 19th century. The game was called due to rain after 2 innings, with St. John ending with 10 runs while the Union Club only had two. The years of 1856 to 1865 saw the creation of a handful of black American baseball teams, such as the Philadelphia Pythians in 1856. They were founded as a social club before becoming a baseball team in the 1860s by two former cricket players, James H. Francis and Francis Wood, followed by the Philadelphia Excelsiors in the mid 1860s and the Albany Bachelors in 1866, with the Washington Mutuals late 1860s. I said, unfortunately, I wasn't able to locate specific founding dates for the Baltimore Hannibals, Camden Blue Skies, Chicago Uniques, Detroit Relatos, Harrisburg, Monrovia, and Jamaica, New York Monitors. It's safe to assume they were created during the same time frame. So all throughout the mid to late 19th century, you're seeing a bunch of Black American Negro baseball leagues popping up. Okay, and so, oh, this is actually the other window. Give me a second. Give me a second. And I could pull it up like this, so we can just. Would this be okay? I mean, nah, I can't show this. I'm sorry, y'all. This is my email. Um, let's see. We can open it with something else. Yeah, because these clippings are super dope. Um, let's go here. Do do do. All right, so where's the pictures at? Right here. Okay, there we go. And I'll be able to show y'all one by one, which is super dope because it's like a bunch of, like I said, it's like 51 um pieces of literal history on the Negro League. So we'll be able to get into a lot. Um, it's loading up now. Now, am I able to switch it? I should be able to. I should be able to. All right. Let's see. Let's go to the window. Let's see. Is this it right here? Yes, there we go. So this is the American Giants. The publication is, or the newspaper is the Chicago Whip, and this is dated January 15th, 1921. So the champion American Giants here, and just a little blurb. It says Andrew Rube Foster's American Giants won the pennant in 1920. The night in 1920 Western Circuit race and added further laurels to their achievement. Hopefully y'all can see it. Hold on, let me zoom in because these were huge files. There we go. We can zoom in some more. I know it's gonna be hard to read in general, but make it a little bit easier. So it says Andrew Rube Foster's American Giants won the pennant in 1920 Western Circuit race and added further laurels to their achievement by touring the Southland, where they were returned winners over the Knoxville champions of the South. They engaged all the great teams of the territory below the line and were never headed in a single game. So they smoke shit. Okay, notwithstanding the hard campaign in the North and South, the champs headed east and without a moment's rest launched out into a series with the Bacharach Giants, protecting their championship laurels with great effectiveness. The champions left Chicago Wednesday night, January 12th. Seminole Limited, ICRR, are carded to play at Palm Beach, representing the Royal, what's it say, Ponciana Hotel in the games that will be played. They leave the Southern Resort March 19th and will play throughout several Southern states en route home and will open late 1921 season in Chicago, April 17th against the Rogers Parks. Okay. The only team that was able to hold them in leash during the 1920 season. The lineup is Dixon J. Brown, catchers Dixon J. Brown, okay, Grant DeMoss. What's going on? DeMoss, B. Williams, Malarcher, Gardner, Reese, Warfield. The outfielders are Beckwith. What's that damn word? I don't know. Lefty, Starks, D. Brown, Johnson, Tom Williams, and Jack Marshall. All right. So we can go back to the other window. Boom. Yeah, there we go. All right. So it says in the next paragraph, come on, scroll down. Why is it not scrolling? I don't know why it's not scrolling, but it says, okay, yeah. All right, come on. What's going on? Why is it not? Is it frozen? Did they freeze me again? Okay, okay, I'm still here. I'm still here. Cool, cool, cool. But it's just frozen for some reason. I don't know, man. My computer's been acting super wacky. But it says while there were teams during this time, yeah, we gotta get to it because it's a nice little narrative, nice little yarn that I spun, off the strength of the teams. Need to know this stuff. Why is it not? Oh, guys, this is so crazy. Jeez Louise. I don't know. We might have to dub it, chat. I ain't gonna lie to you. We might have to dub it because the windows are not cooperating. I don't know why. Or maybe I can load up the next where they let me do that at least. If we can't get to the website, we got all of these different pictures that we can just go through. And I doubt that I'll even be able to get through all of them, to be honest. That's how many that I like looked up and stuff. All these different articles, advertisements and stuff. So if I can at least get the pictures, okay, for sure. So let's go to another lineup. I think that's best. We could do another lineup. I want to say I had took a picture. Yep, I did. We can do that one too. We can do that one too. But we got another lineup, another roster of black players that we can look at too. And these are, we'll learn real quick. All right, let's switch back. Since the internet won't play around, there we go. Boom. So we got here the Cincinnati Indianapolis Clowns. This is 1945. So this is the team here. We got so face to face with baseball's wonder team. Here's a group picture of the national famous Cincinnati Indianapolis Clowns, 1944 Negro American League runners up in 1941, the Denver National Tournament champs, the most popular Negro baseball team ever known, who will appear under the floodlights at Ponce de Leon Park August 7th and 8th against the revamped Atlanta Black Crackers. If y'all wondered where I be using that meme that I created, the Black Crackers meme, is because it was a baseball team named the Black Crackers. And when I was researching these teams, I was like, oh yeah, this is perfect as an insult. And so back row, left to right, they are Hoss. Yeah, we can't do both. Hoss, Walker, Oliver, Smith, John, is it Hoss Walker, Oliver Smith, Johnny Williams, Fred Wilson, Roosevelt Davis, Alec Radcliffe, and bus manager Bunny Downs. The middle row here is Sam Hairston, Armando Vasquez, Buster Haywood, Buster Haywood, Henry Smith, Raul Navarro, and Verdes Drake. And at the front row, you got Henry Speed Merchant, Johnny Ray, okay, King Tut, and then Amos Watson. So they call his son over here King Tut. Very interesting. Now, you may have noticed some Hispanic names. One of the things that I learned when it came down to these leagues early on, they had Cubans too. A lot of Cubans were shipped in to play baseball at this time. So I found that very interesting too. So I think we got some act right when it comes down to the window now. So we can continue reading. I think so, right? Yep. So it says while there were teams during this time, there wasn't a formalized league yet. Even after the first league was created, there were several leagues to follow decades before the Negro National League was created in 1920. So at the beginning, it was just teams, right? There's no leagues. There's no formalized way to come together, right? Under no banners. People are just creating teams based upon like money that they have. They're able to, they got connections, they know people and stuff like that, and they're just creating teams and funding them, right? And so the first league wasn't created until 1920, the Negro National League. No, actually not. Let's keep reading. The very first American Negro Baseball League was called the Southern League of Colored Baseballists. That's what a baseball player was called, a baseballist. The league was created in 1886. It had at least 10 teams, but there were reports of up to 20. However, it only lasted 1 year. Right. The following year, in 1887, the National Colored Baseball League was founded by Walter S. Brown. This league only had 8 teams on its roster: the Baltimore Lord Baltimores, Boston Resolutes, Louisville Fall Cities, New York Gorms, Philadelphia Pythians, Pittsburgh Keystones, Washington Capital Cities, and and Cincinnati Browns. Okay, similar to the Southern League of Colored Baseballists, the NCBL only lasted a year due to financial shortcomings. And so one of the things that I was telling people when it comes down to gradualism, right, in the previous stream, about that you're going to have your bumps and bruises. You're going to have your ebbs and flows, your ups and downs, right? And so, yes, you're going to have certain things fail in the beginning. That doesn't mean that you're inherently a failure. It's just that there are going to be certain things that you need to improve on in order to stay in good standing with whatever business or idea that you have. Like, you need to continue to fund your endeavors. So it says, interestingly enough, I found a Negro Baseball League that was founded by white Americans. Okay, the National Association of Colored Baseball Clubs of the United States and Cuba was founded by sports writer Henry Walter Slichter and sports promoter Nat Strong in 1906 and lasted until 1910. This was a baseball league that included blacks and Cubans. It originally had five member clubs: the Brooklyn Royal Giants, the Cuban Giants, the Cuban Stars of Havana, Cuban X-Giants, and the Philadelphia Giants. Definitely no diversification with the names. Everybody was a giant pretty much. You know what I'm saying? Schlichter actually owned the Philadelphia Giants. King Solomon Sol White was captain of the Philly Giants, as well as a historian for the Negro Leagues of his day. And that was another thing. I learned a lot from Sol White. Like, he got books and stuff like that, which will be in the description of the video. Don't worry. Literally, like, documenting the league and all of the things that they went through, good and bad. You'll see his books and the sources below. Alongside this league, there was the International League of Independent Professional Baseball Clubs, also founded in 1906. This was another short-lived league that included black, white, and Cuban players. So in 1906, you have basically, on their own volition, an integrated league. And this is what I'm saying about integration, man. Like, I promise you, there's so many different instances of just voluntary integration, dating all the way back to like the 17th and 18th centuries. That for me to think that integration was needed to be forced is just ridiculous. We had mixed people in this country for centuries. Centuries. Cannot stress this enough. And so mixing of baseball leagues, that wasn't, you didn't need government involved for that. You just needed government to get out the way. Because there'll be things like the International League of Independent Professional Baseball Clubs in 1906 that are integrating black, white, and Cuban players and playing. Right? So, let's see. Let's go back to the folder. Let's see what we got here. See what else we can pull up. What else they had going on? So let's pull this up. Let's pull this up. This is Durham. Okay. Going to Durham with it. Why does it keep popping up in this window? So I wanna give y'all more, like, a lot of team pictures, just so you can see the landscape. But then we'll also focus on individual players in just a second. All right, so let's switch the window up, and there we go. Let's go here. So you got the Durham Black Sox versus the Richmond Elks. July 27th, 1935 is when this article, or when this advertisement was put out. So this is an advertisement for a game. Durham Black Sox, Durham, North Carolina, obviously, versus the Richmond Elks, Richmond, Virginia, obviously, at Griffith Stadium. Okay, this is the second game of a 3-game series. First game won by Durham Black Sox by a score of 1-0. I don't know what this means down here. Like, when it comes down to these, like, colons, I don't know. But yeah, admission 55 cents, and this is the team. Let's try to get a good enough look at them without looking too crazy. So yeah, this is the team. I know it's very blurry, but an artifact nonetheless. 1935. So a little under 100 years ago. You dig? Durham Black Sox. This seems to be based upon their jersey, Black Sox. Yeah, these are the Durham Black Sox here. And they won. They won the first game. All right. What else we got? Oh, yeah. Let's talk about this right here. Okay, we got to switch the windows. Oh, yeah, that's right, because it's technically a different window. So, yeah, check this out, y'all. So, we got a tragic story. You know I was going to find something crazy, because something crazy is always happening. So, I don't know if you can see this, but it says, dies from accident. Edward Smith, first baseman for the Turpin AC, died last Tuesday in a Grand Rapids hospital following injuries he suffered in a game there last Sunday. And this is him right here. Okay, so let's zoom in and scroll down. Cracks 3 ribs in baseball game, dies. Okay, injuries suffered in an accident last Sunday when he ran into a wall while chasing a foul ball in Grand Rapids, resulted in the death last Tuesday of Edward Smith, 30 years old. Okay, Smith, who played first base for, Ben Turpin's athletic club, broke 3 ribs in the accident. He was rushed to the St. Mary's Hospital in Grand Rapids, dying during an operation. Mrs. Catherine Smith, wife of the ball player, rushed to Grand Rapids Sunday night and was at the hospital at the time of his death. Smith, who was employed at the Fisher Body Plant, have been members had been a member of the Turpin team for 2 years. Before that, he had played with teams in Arkansas, his home. The Turpin Athletic Club was leading before the accident occurred to Smith, but finally lost the game 12-8. Smith is survived by his widow, mother, and sister. So son didn't even have any kids. But son ran into a wall and cracked his ribs, chasing a foul ball. That is crazy, son. And you know, it's another thing that's interesting. Something that was a common theme among these baseball players is that this was not their day job. They like, you know how now like baseball be giving out these crazy contracts, football, basketball, whatnot. They're giving out these crazy, 7, 8, 9-figure contracts and all of that. None of that was going on in the early 20th century. You feel me? This dude worked at a body plant, a Fisher body plant. You dig what I'm saying? And played, baseball on the side. I don't even know if they were getting paid at the time. If they were, I know it definitely wasn't enough to, put food on the table. Like that was definitely out. All right. So let's switch back. Yep. Here we go. So it wouldn't be until 1920 where we would see the founding of the first iteration of the Negro National League, NNL, by former baseball player Andrew Rube Foster. That's who we were looking at in the first roster photo. Not only did he create the league, he was owner and manager of the Chicago American Giants. The NNL, I had about 22 teams. I included the timeline for the league's teams in the email. The league lasted until 1931. In 1923, the Eastern Colored League was founded but ended by 1928. All right. The charter members were the Hilldale, the Bacharach Giants, the Brooklyn Royal Giants, the Cuban Stars, the Lincoln Giants of New York, and the Baltimore Black Sox. And I ain't gonna front, like the diversification in the names was definitely something to be desired. Like it was just Giants, Royals, like you'll have some variety in there, but Giants they spam Giants for sure. In 1924, the Harrisburg Giants and the Washington Potomacs joined, bringing the circuit to 8 clubs. The Newark Stars and the Philadelphia Tigers were also a part of the league. While the longest running league thus far, various issues, the largest being the Great Depression, saw the end of the league. You know what I'm saying? So, of course, the Great Depression is going to be one of the things that are going to take away your extracurriculars. Like, if it's not bringing in enough money, it's not really worth salvaging, economics-wise or finance-wise. Like, black people still played baseball, obviously, but to maintain a team that's not garnering you any money and is costing you money, and we're going through a nationwide recession, I get it. You know what I'm saying? Now, the second iteration of the National Negro League started in 1933. This time it was organized by Gus Greenlee, a wealthy businessman from Pittsburgh. All right. Now, we talked about Gus Greenlee on stream before. Gus Greenlee also had a numbers racket. Gus Greenlee was also a gangster. You know what I mean? He was a gentleman, but he was a gangster as well. And do I have any files on him in this folder? I don't think I do. Nah, I don't. But maybe I have something on the Crawfords, though. Maybe I have something on the Crawfords. Nah, no. It's all good. So, yeah, Gus Greenlee, he was the number runner. He was moving and shaking and shit. Let's see if I can. All right, let's see. He owned the baseball team, the Pittsburgh Crawfords. Right. This league hosted 18 teams, with most of them migrating from the previous league. However, new teams like the New York Black Yankees, Washington Black Senators, and the Newark Eagles, okay, this would be the most notable iteration of the NNL and would run until 1948. This was the year that the MLB integrated. See, 1948. We had all of this from 1855. Okay, so almost 100 years of black baseball. And this is what I'm telling y'all. It goes right back to the argument that I was having. Like from 1855 to 1948, black American men were doing their own thing when it came down to their leagues. You'll even have certain white men get involved, like what was his name, Walter, right? And then in 1958, excuse me, in the 1948, the MLB integrates. All right, so that's gonna, of course, dismantle whatever it is when it comes to Black Americans. And it's and you know what's so crazy about the of course part of that? I don't even think it's supposed to be of course. I truly don't think so. I don't think that like just because you're able to integrate that you should just like abandon whatever you've created, you know? So let's see. The remaining players and teams will be absorbed by the Negro American League, which operated until 1962. So we still had a Black American League. So it was more than 100 years. Look at that. So from 1855 to 1962, Black Americans had their own baseball league. Okay, this will be the ultimate end of the Negro Leagues, but their legacy lives on. Okay, and so then we got the sources and stuff, and I told you I'll be sharing all of these with you guys, but we can go to a couple of these. One of them is already loaded up, I think. Yeah, so the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum, the E-Museum, okay, and so you can go here and you get some good information. You know, this was where I got some good information from. And then you can look at the historical timeline, all of that stuff. You just go through it. And this is the reason why I appreciate these old ass websites. This website, the last time they checked on this website was 2006. Like the last time they cared about this website was 2006. So old websites are always going to get me because they're like time capsules, even in the contemporary sense. And what else we got here as far as the links? The first black baseball game in American history. Let's go there. Look at, I'm trying to tell you, this is the lengths that I go in my research. This little text field right here is a representation of the news article, 1855. So if you look at it, it says year 1855, headline: African American clubs play in New Jersey. Now, I promise you, nobody said African American in 1855. That's something else. This is coding or some sort. Okay. But as far as the text goes, it says baseball. A match game of baseball was played between the St. John's Club and the Unions Club yesterday afternoon. 2 innings were played when it commenced to rain. The St. John's Club made 10 runs and the Union Club only 2. The game is to be played again on Friday at 2 o'clock on the grounds of the St. John's Club, foot of Chestnut Street. So yeah, like you gotta like sift through these crazy sources. Like when you be doing your online sleuthing, understand that pages like this are gonna be some like really where you're gonna be getting some good information from. You know what I'm saying? This is protoball.org. I've never, obviously, I don't even dabble in baseball like that. What else we got? The history of the Southern League of Colored Baseball list. Wow, this link. Oh man, that's another thing too. I'll like be like stashing or aggregating a bunch of links, and then they'll just go offline randomly, like that link. So I had made this document. It was hot outside, so it was like spring, summertime. And now look, database error, unable to connect to the database, cannot connect to the MySQL. See that? That's crazy. It's all good though. Brief historical timeline of Negro League Baseball, history of the Negro Major League, Society for American Baseball Research. Like, this is all good stuff here. Look at this. You know this website is old as hell. You had to go to the Wayback Machine to even check it out. So check. Americans began playing baseball in the early 1800s on informal teams and using local rules. By the 1860s, the sport unrivaled, in popularity, was being described as America's national pastime. 1845, Alexander Cartwright published a set of baseball rules for the Knickerbocker Club of New York, and his rules were widely adopted. So it wasn't even that far behind white people when it comes down to the adaptation of baseball, if at all, behind white people. You know? It says throughout the 1800s and by the 1860s, notable black amateur teams such as the Colored Union in Brooklyn and the Python Club in Philadelphia have formed. Exactly. And like these websites are going to be like old websites from the 90s and early 2000s are going to be like the equivalent of like the modern day equivalent of second like good secondary sources. Like, we'll read a book and like that was published in like 1910 about like the 1860s or the 1870s, like, and they're going to give all of those types of primary sources notated at the bottom or in their bibliography. A lot of these websites are going to be like that just for the modern day. As you can see, when it came down to old websites or just making websites back in the day, it was more about the information as opposed to you being able to make any money. Like the incentive, the incentive was giving good information. Your ability to make your name by giving good information. This is the information highway days, the World Wide Web days, where people are like legitimately just being introduced to the internet. So this one is an article that was written in 2007, but it started in 2000. Site contents copyright 2000 to 2007, Negro League Baseball Player Association. So yes, it's a secondary source, but it is the primary source for the information. Negro League Baseball Players Association. Like, where else what better place other than, primary sources written by the players themselves or the people who, organize the teams themselves. Like, this is going to be the best place as far as websites are concerned. And you learn a lot here. The first successful organized Negro League was established on February 13th, 1920. At a YMCA in Kansas City, Missouri. Andrew Rube Forster was the driving force behind the organization of this league and served as its president. Okay, as a result of his leadership role in the early years of the leagues, Forster is known as the father of black baseball. The first league was known as the Negro National League with member teams in the South and Midwest. The NNL operated successfully until 1931, like I said in my document. You dig what I'm saying? And so all of these different sources will be in the description. And then we have one newspaper source. Obviously, I have more than one because I'm showing y'all all of these different, examples. But what do we have here? So you got a speech from Frederick Douglass in here. Like, I love these newspapers, man. I'm not seeing it. I'm seeing a lot of Masonic stuff though, but I had to use this for a reason. Like, I documented it, like explicitly documented it. So Let's see. Let's mull it over real quick. Let's give it a once over. Mm-hmm. Are these the goings on? Is that what it is? News and sentiment. Yeah. And this is what I'm not seeing it. I know I had to do for a reason. It had to have been for a reason. It probably is somewhere in here or something like that. Um. I'm not seeing anything. I had to be in here though. But yeah, the Masonic. Oh man, people be so worried about all of that type of stuff, man. But all you gotta do is just look into it. There was something in here about baseball. I know it. There was something in here about baseball, but I can't seem to find it right now. It's all good. I'll just put it in the description. You guys can find it. What else we got? What else we got? What else we got? Society for American Baseball Research, Negro Leagues. Let's see, what's that about? Negro League Grave Marker Project installs a new headstone for St. Louis baseball pioneer Henry Bridgewater. Okay, got it, got it. So let's get back to the slideshow, or I'll get back to the other pictures. Um, I think this would be cool to pull up next. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. This would actually be better. The timeline, the team timeline of the National Negro, excuse me, the Negro National League. I think that'd be better. We can pull that up too. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Where's it at? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. There we go. All right. Where's all right? Mm-hmm. There we go. I was about to say, where the hell is it? All right. So here we go. We got the timeline right here from 1920 to 1932 at least. So all throughout, you had the Chicago American Giants, as we know, that was run by Rube. And then after that, you got the Chicago Giants that didn't run that long. The Cuban Stars, and I guess turned into the Cincinnati Cubans, and then turned back into the Cuban Stars, I guess. And then you got the Dayton Marcos, the Detroit Stars, the Indianapolis ABCs. So the Detroit Stars and the Chicago American Giants seems to be so far the only teams that stuck it out through the beginning to the end. The Dayton Marcos looks like they started at 1921, a year after the league started, and they stopped in 1927. The Indianapolis ABC stopped the same year. But the blanks in the squares let me know that they started, stopped, and then started again, and then stopped again. That's what it seems like to me. Okay. And then after the Indianapolis ABCs, you had the Kansas City Monarchs, which was from beginning to end. You had the St. Louis Giants, starting in 1920, ending in 1922, but from 22 to 32, they just changed their names to the St. Louis Stars. Then in 1921, you had the Columbus Buckeyes. They ended their run seemingly in one season. Like they started in 1921 and ended in 1922. Then you had the Cleveland Tate Stars that started in 1922 and ended in 1924. The Toledo Tigers, starting in 23, ended in 24. Pittsburgh Keystones only lasted between 22 and 23. 23 to 24 for the Milwaukee Bears. 24 with a blank on the in between 26 and 27, but ending officially in 31 are the Birmingham Black Barons. Then you got the Cleveland Browns starting in 24 and ending in 25. And then in 1924, ending in 26, coming back at 27 and ending in 31 was the Memphis Red Sox. Then 26 to 27, you had the Cleveland Elites. 27 to 28, you had the Cleveland Hornets. 28 to 29, you had the Cleveland Tigers. Cleveland was determined to stay in the league, son. Determined to stay in the league, would not give up. They kept it going. Then 29 to 30, you got the Nashville Elite. They changed into the Giants and then the Cleveland Cubs. And then you have from 30 to 32. No. Then you have 31 to 32, the Indianapolis ABCs, the second iteration, and the Louisville White Sox. So that was pretty much the timeline of the National or the Negro National League from 1920 to 1932. All right. What else we got? It's another ad, a super cool ad. A bunch of sailors. A bunch of sailors created a baseball team called the Great Lakes Negro baseball team. All right. And, all of these different guys, they were in the Navy, it seems to me, right? The anchor, their obvious uniforms and all of that. And you got Larry Doby. I don't know. What's that? It's a white man name. Hold on. That's a little bit too zoomed in. What did I say? Eshian Al-Desic? The coach? I don't know. You got James Brown, Scotty Randall, Herb Bracken, Howard Gay. Pause. You got Leroy Clayton, Charles Harmon, Leroy Coates, Andrew Watts, Alvin Pascal, and John Wright. Oh, no. Wait, because they have different teams. They got the Newark Eagles, the Birmingham Barons, what does that say? Homestead Grays, St. Louis. So I want to say these guys were like an all-star team or something like that. Like they were an all-star team that came together. You know how they have like Team USA at the Olympics or West versus East at the all-star games and stuff like that. That may be what this is. But they are all coming from different teams. Very interesting. All right, what do we got next? Let's look at some players. We got here Bruce Petway. Gotta have it load up. All right. Switch over. Boom. There you go. This is Bruce Petway, who is again throwing true to form. I need some baseball fans to let me know all of these different positions and all of that. I know infield, the outfield, the catchers, and all of that. The basics, but I know y'all could tell based upon like uniforms and how they wearing their joints, like it's gonna be what it's gonna be. So let me know, all you baseball heads. Let me know because I don't know a thing about it except the basics. Who else we got? We did have Edward Smith who died. Let's do Henry Papa Foots. Let's check. Just check him out. All right, cool. Let's switch on over. Now this one is Henry B. Stevens, alias Papa Foots, manager of the Spartansburg Sluggers. H.B. Stevens made South Carolina famous by his batting and fielding averages during the season of 1910 with the Spartansburg Sluggers. Batting average 398 while holding down first base. Fielding average 990. Will be glad to hear from all managers for the coming season of 1911. Address all mail to 60 Decatur Street or 94th and a half Decatur Street, Atlanta, Georgia. For information, write Birmingham Giants, season of 1908, or the Atlanta Deppins? Or Atlanta Deppins, season 1909. All right, so this is Papa Foots. Papa Foots. How dope would it be if they had baseball cards like from saved from that day today? I would love to have them. Cause that was my whole thing. My whole thing when I was doing all this research, first I was commissioned to do it, and then secondly, I was like, yo, I wonder like if any of these guys have baseball cards. And it made me wonder if the Negro League had baseball cards. And I did look it up, and I don't remember what the results were. Let me just double check now. Because that would be fire. I would want them. Okay, so they do have them. They do have them. I knew it. We gotta get into that. I would love to have those as a collector. Christian says he's a catcher in a uniform. Yeah, I figured that. Like I figured he was a catcher, but I didn't know if it was a specific one. So we got another guy to showcase here. We're gonna highlight some people and then we're gonna get up out of here. We got the Negro Blue Jacket Keystoner. Says one of the mainstays in the infield of the Great Lakes Negro baseball team is Jim Brown. See, this goes back to that other poster. Seemed like these dudes is playing for more than one team. Pause. Former All-American at Southern University. Brown is the leading hitter of the club and played with the Birmingham Black Barons before he entered the service. He's the most versatile member of the club, alternating in emergency in outfield, at first base, and at pitching. The Great Lakes Negro baseball team plays the Motor City Giants at Detroit on Sunday, July 2nd. Yeah, what was his name again? Jim Brown. This is Jim Brown. You dig? Crazy. Who else can we highlight? Who else we got here? Marshall Bridges. Let's learn about him. Christopher says the only real distinct baseball uniform is the catcher, as they wear mask and catch, chest protector and gloves is different. Every other position is uniform pretty similar. Yeah, and there is always a Jim Brown, isn't there? There's always a Jim Brown. Just like in every generation, there's a nigga named after a president. You know. So we got Marshall Bridges. He was recalled by the Cincinnati Reds. So let's check this article out. Short little blurb. It says the league leading Cincinnati Reds, in a move to bolster their left-handed relief pitching, today recalled Marshall Bridges from their Jersey City Farm Club in the International League. Bridges appeared in 13 baseball games for the Reds this year and had one less without a victory with the National League team before being sent to Jersey City on June 25th. So it seems to me that it's a lot of moving around. It's a lot of moving around when it comes down to these guys. They move into different states. The last guy was sent somewhere else as well. So it's like moving around. That would make sense to me when you see them like on the Great Lakes team, but on the advertisement for the Great Lakes team, they're billed as a player for another team. It seems like it wasn't like this conflict of interest if it was like a different league or something. Obviously. He won 4 and lost none with the Reds last season. Bridges is a native of Jackson, Mississippi, where he makes his home during the offseason. You feel me? Shout out to Marshall Bridges. People that I've never heard of, man. I only heard of Jackie Robinson in school. Maybe you may get some Satchel Paige or some Hank Aaron, but it was mostly Jackie. Let's see. We got another guy here in the advertisement. It seems. Let's see. I wonder if Chad's song is on YouTube. I'm jamming that. I ain't even gonna lie to you. I'm jamming that. This is loading up real quick. Oh man, I cannot wait for tomorrow. About to be eating so good. All right, let's see. Booyah, here we go. This is Philadelphia Stars player Dickie C.A. I guess that's how you pronounce his name. Y'all let me know how to pronounce this. How do you pronounce his name? Dickie C.A.? You know what I mean? I've never seen a name like this before. But anyway, let's zoom back out real quick. Oh, you can't throw him bad, says this guy, reaching for a high and wide one. So yeah. It says track second baseman. Let me zoom in here so y'all can see. Track second baseman of the Philadelphia Stars challenges his infielders to get one past him that he can reach. He snags high throws, low throws, wide throws, and grounders with the same effect. And for that reason, he's being regarded as an almost certainty for the Eastern representative in the East-West All-Star Game, which is set for August 11 at Cosmic Park in Chicago. Comiskey. That's what it is. Comiskey Park in Chicago. I'm telling you, I was just going through the archives finding this stuff out. This is from 1935. This is from 1935. Shout out to Mr. C.A. Let's see who else we got. Okay, we do have Satchel Paige here. Okay, cause I thought I did document Satchel Paige in here. Let's get that up. Pause. Boom. Satchel Paige. There we go. So it says night game at Dekindre Park First game under lights, Sunday, June 8th. Game starts 8 p.m. Satchel Paige and his Giants versus Detroit Wolves. Admission 120, tax included. Children 50 cents. Take Russell Street bus direct to ballpark. So Satchel Paige in the advertisement. You dig? Another. These are all, and by the way, these are all clippings that I clipped myself. You won't see any of these clippings on the internet outside of Hotep History. Yes, I'm bragging. Yes, I am bragging. You goddamn right. So next up, this was something that I seen that I thought was just interesting. It was an advertisement. Let's get it. And it was special guest Jesse Owens. And he was a guest at a game between the Philadelphia Hilldales and the Detroit Motor City Giants. This is July 6th. The article or the ad was created July 6, 1945. But the game was July 10th of that year. So you guys can check it out. Yeah, special Jesse Owens, world's greatest track star, in person in a series of novel events in addition to United States Negro League Baseball, Philadelphia Hilldales versus Detroit Motor City Giants. Sunday, July 8th, doubleheader, 1:30 p.m., Nicollet Park in Minneapolis. And night game, Tuesday, July 10th, 8:30 at Lexington Park in St. Paul. So they had dope stuff like this. What else can we look up here? Do we have any more people that we can highlight before we go to that? Let's see. These two players that I see here, but I don't know if they might be named. They look like they're named. All right. Transition over. Boom. All right, so we can X out of all of these other ones. Surely we can X out of all of those. All right, so boom. Two Barron Mound aces, two of the pitching aces who faced the Detroit Black Sox in the doubleheader against the Birmingham Black Barons at Bob Sage's Sportsman's Park are John Markman, left here, and Alvin, what does that say, Bubber? Alvin what, nigga? What's your nickname, gang? I'm not tripping. That says Bubmer. Anyway, Alvin Gibson. Josh Gibson, he was called the Black Babe Ruth. Is this who you talking about right here? On the right? It says Alvin Gibson. That ain't the same. Look at Crystal with all of the baseball knowledge. Shout out to Crystal with the baseball knowledge, man. Shout out to the New York Black Yankees, co-founded by the legendary Richmonder Bilbo Jangles Robinson. Yeah, I thought I had more on the Black Yankees. I did. I thought I did. Let's see. Oh yeah, we can end it off with this picture right here. I thought this picture was super dope. Hold on. Let's go back to the other way. Go back to the other way. Look at this, y'all. This is fire. This picture is like, if I was like one of them sports buffs and shit like that, this would be one of my headers, gang. We gotta zoom in on this. So this is the first Colored World Series opening game, October 11th, 1924, in Kansas City, Missouri. So check this out. We gotta go all the way over here. Okay, we gotta start. All right. And so we got all of these guys. I wish I could scroll over smoothly, but this is as smooth as it's gonna be. But look, both teams lined up. You got the Eastern Colored League sweaters and all of that, and it's looking like this is the Philadelphia Hilldales versus, I can't see the name of that team. That might be the Monarchs. That might be the Monarchs. But look at how many people are in the stands, fam. Look at how many people came to see these guys play. No, Josh Gibson. I was in love with David Justice when I was younger, so I became super interested in learning the game. Of course. Of course. But yeah, this is fire. I would have loved to have been there. I'm not even into baseball like that, but just like everybody in the crowd, the first Black World Series, like you gotta be there, bro. You gotta be there. It's like voting for Obama, nigga. You gotta do it. You could convince me. Who was he running up against? McCain, nigga? You what? Mitt Romney, one of them motherfuckers. You wasn't about to have my black ass vote for fucking John McCain, gang. You out of your mind? You gotta be deep, like in the Republican trenches to have voted against Barack Obama as a black person. Like you gotta be like really like fucking with it. You know what I'm saying? Like I think like Sonny. I don't think Sonny voted for fucking Barack Obama, but she knew about politics in '08. I ain't know shit about politics in 2008 at all. All right, so we gonna end it on that. We gonna end it on that. This is fire. This picture is super dope. Let me see if I can find Chad's song because I'm fucking with that joint. Fucking with it. Oh man. Despite the technical difficulties, I appreciate that for the last hour. This was just like a dope presentation, and it's gonna be making it even easier for me to like clip these shits up for the segments. So I appreciate it. Let's see, because on Apple he has, I don't know if like if that's what he was doing on purpose. I would have to assume, but his artist name is Chad's Anthology, and I was just like, okay, like that's cool. You know what I'm saying? Let's see. Definitely, even though we fell for the pimping with the Obama vote. Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. That's all we could have did. All right, man. I ain't gonna lie, y'all may not like it, future viewers and stuff like that, but I really fuck with this joint. You know what I'm saying? I've been rocking with Chad's work this since this year. I got in tune with him, with the MLK project and all of that, and he was posting clips from the MLK project, from his works and all of that. You feel me? Hold on. No, we can go back actually. We can I wanna see how y'all feel about this song. Cause I'd really jack it. Pause. Alright, let's check it out. This is Chad's Anthology Black Culture Epiphany. Hold on, hold on. My son said it was communist Jews, communist whites, and communist blacks. Hold on, I gotta will that back.
It was communist Jews and communist whites and communist blacks, destroying the nation of football, turning them.
This is my shit. I'm telling you, Chad went in. Like, I'm not gonna hold you. This album is, like, I rock with the album. Hey. Mm. All right, y'all. I have been your host, President Hotep, dude. Hope you guys enjoyed the broadcast tonight. A little short one, but it's all good. Listen, as always, you can't have the future without the present, and you cannot have the present without the past. And we don't study history to live in the past, but to order our steps in the present so we can positively what? Affect our future. Thank you guys again for tapping in. I'm gonna will that back. That's my joint. Thank you guys again for tapping in. I'm about to get on my life. I'm tired. But I'm about to be up all night though. But yeah, if you're digging it, this song is called Black Culture Epiphany by Chad Zenthal. Shout out to Chad O. Jackson, man. Keep doing what you do, bro. Hey. 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 All right, y'all. Thank y'all for coming on through. Shout out to everybody that came through the chat. Enjoy your Thanksgiving with your peoples, man. Talk to your granny. Talk to your granny. Ask her about her life. Ask her about when she was a child. Okay? Get your family history over. I love y'all, man. I love y'all. Well, have a good night, and as always, I'm not gonna be blurry talking. Hotep and Bill. We out of here, man. Hotep and Bill.